July 1947. Something crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. The US government called it a weather balloon, but the files say otherwise. What if aliens have been here all along, and Uncle Sam's known for decades? This isn't sci-fi, it's the mystery they've buried. In the next 15 minutes, you'll uncover why the US hides the truth about UFOs. From Roswell's wreckage to reptilian shadows in power. Want to know what they're not telling you? Stick around, because the secrets start spilling now. It's July 2nd, 1947. A hot, quiet night blankets the desert of Roswell, New Mexico. Suddenly, a deafening boom shatters the silence. Local rancher Mac Brazel hears it. Something's crashed on his land. He heads out the next morning and finds wreckage unlike anything he's ever seen. Strange metallic debris, shimmering under the sun, with markings that don't look human. He reports it to the sheriff, who calls the nearby Roswell Army airfield. Within hours, military trucks roll in, soldiers swarm the site, and the debris vanishes. What did they find that day? The official story came fast, too fast. On July 8th, the Roswell Daily Record runs a headline that shakes the world. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. The military claims they recovered a downed UFO. People start talking. Witnesses swear they saw bodies, small and gray, pulled from the wreckage. But then, just 24 hours later, the story flips. General Roger Ramey holds a press conference in Fort Worth, Texas, showing off a crumpled weather balloon. "Nothing to see here," he says. "Just a mix-up." The newspapers eat it up, and the flying saucer tale gets buried. Case closed. Or was it? Think about it. Why did the military rush in so quickly? Why did the story change overnight? Witnesses didn't buy the balloon excuse. Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer who handled the debris, later admitted it wasn't normal metal. It wouldn't bend, wouldn't burn. He said they forced him to pose with that fake balloon for the cameras. Other locals claimed they were threatened, told to keep quiet or else. One rancher said soldiers warned him, "Talk about this, and your family disappears." Coincidence? Or the first stitch in a cover-up that's lasted decades? The Roswell incident isn't just a dusty old story. It's ground zero for the mystery. The government wanted it forgotten, but the questions won't die. What crashed that night? Why did they lock it away so tight? And here's the kicker. Some say the truth slipped through the cracks anyway. Declassified files hint at something bigger, something they've been hiding ever since. Stick around, because what comes next will make you wonder. How deep does this rabbit hole go? The Roswell crash was just the spark. Proof of the fire lies in the papers they couldn't burn. Picture this. It's 1952, and an FBI agent sits at his desk, typing a memo that was never meant to see daylight. The words are chilling. Unidentified aerial objects observed over Washington, D.C., not conventional aircraft. He sends it up the chain, and it vanishes into the Bureau's vaults. But decades later, thanks to the Freedom of Information Act, that memo claws its way out. It's not alone. Thousands of pages, FBI, CIA, Pentagon, spill into the public, dripping with hints of something extraterrestrial. So what do they say? Take July 1952. Radar stations near the nation's capital pick up fast-moving blips, objects zipping through restricted airspace. Fighter jets scramble, but the bogies vanish. Civilians see lights dancing in the sky. Hundreds report it. The Air Force shrugs, calls it temperature inversion. Yet, the FBI memo says otherwise. Objects tracked at speeds exceeding known technology. Then there's Project Blue Book, the military's own UFO probe, 17,000 cases logged from 1947 to 1969. Officially, they closed it, saying no threat, no evidence. But buried in those files? 701 sightings labeled unexplained. 701. That's not a typo. Here's where it gets darker. In 1947, a CIA report mentions recovered materials from New Mexico, Roswell's shadow again. The document's half-redacted, black ink swallowing key lines, but what's left screams questions. Non-terrestrial origin under review. Non-terrestrial. Let that sink in. And it's not just old paper. Fast forward to 2021. The Pentagon releases a report admitting 144 UFO encounters since 2004, most unexplained. Pilots describe crafts defying physics. Sudden stops, instant acceleration, no visible engines. The government calls them UAPs now, unidentified aerial phenomena, but the dodge doesn't fool anyone. Why the rebrand? What are they afraid to call it? These leaks aren't accidents, they're cracks in the wall. Every memo, every report, is a whisper from someone who couldn't stay silent. But here's the hook. If this much got out, what's still locked away? Imagine the filing cabinets in Langley or Area 51, pages stamped top secret. That'd make your skin crawl. You think this is coincidence? Or proof they've been watching the skies longer than us? Hang on, because what they saw up there is nothing compared to what's walking among us. The files are just the start. Let's talk about the witnesses who saw it with their own eyes. The files hint at it, but the skies scream it. March 13th, 1997, Phoenix, Arizona. Dusk settles over the city when a shadow cuts through the twilight. A massive V-shaped craft, silent as death, glides overhead, its lights pulsing like a heartbeat. Not 10, not 100, but thousands see it, pilots, cops, everyday people. Lynn Kitty Eye, a doctor, grabs her camera, films it hovering for minutes. Witnesses say it's a mile wide, blocking out stars. The Air Force scrambles jets, but the thing vanishes. Hours later, the official word drops. Just flares from a training exercise. Flares? Really? Let's rewind to that night. Governor Fife Symington watches it too. He's no crackpot. He's the state's top official. Years later, he admits on camera. That wasn't flares. It was a craft, and it wasn't ours. The military sticks to their story, but the math doesn't add up. Flares fall, they don't hover, don't move information, don't span a mile. Over 700 reports flood in, yet the government brushes it off. Sound familiar? It's Roswell's echo. Something's there, and they want you to look away. But Phoenix isn't alone. Witnesses keep breaking the silence. Take Commander David Fravor, a Navy pilot, November 2004. Off the California coast, his F-18 locks onto a white, tic-tac-shaped object. No wings, no exhaust, just pure speed. It dances around his jet, then bolts, 0 to gone in a blink. The USS Princeton's radar tracks it dropping 60,000 feet in seconds. Fravor lands, debriefs, and here's the order: don't talk about it. The Pentagon sits on the footage for years until it leaks in 2017. He's not the only one. Gordon Cooper, an Apollo astronaut, swears he saw a UFO land in 1957. Green glow, metal legs, the works. He films it, hands it to the Air Force, and poof, it's gone. These aren't tinfoil hat stories. They're trained eyes, credible voices. So why does the government gag them? Why do tapes vanish and explanations limp? Phoenix, Fravor, Cooper, hundreds more stretch back decades, each a pinprick in the blackout curtain. If it's not aliens, what is it? Weather balloons again, secret tech, or something they've known about since that desert crash in '47. Here's the chill. Every sighting they dodge raises the stakes. What if the truth isn't just up there? It's down here, walking among us. Stay with me, because the next piece might be the darkest yet. The skies tell half the story, but what if the real secret isn't above us, it's beside us? Picture a shadow moving through Washington, D.C., 2025. A figure steps into a Senate chamber, human, suit crisp, handshake firm. But something's off. A flicker in the eyes, a slit pupil catching the light. That's the whisper, reptilians, shape-shifting aliens, walking among us. Not sci-fi, not fantasy, but a theory that's clawed its way from fringe forums to hushed conversations. They say these beings crashed here eons ago, maybe even Roswell, and now they pull strings behind the government's curtain. Sound crazy? Let's peel it back. It starts with David Icke, 1990s. He claims an ancient race, reptilian humanoids from the stars, controls the elite. Presidents, CEOs, generals, not human but lizards in skin suits. Far-fetched, sure, but then come the stories. A 1988 witness, Kathy, swears she saw a man in Nevada shift, scales rippling under his face, before soldiers dragged her away. Another, in 2016, films a politician on live TV. His eyes blink sideways, like a snake's. Glitch, or glitch in the disguise. Thousands of clips flood the internet, blurry, debated, but persistent. And here's the eerie part. Ancient texts back it up. Sumerian tablets, 4000 BC, talk of Anunnaki, serpent gods from the sky who ruled mankind. Coincidence? Now tie it to the US Roswell's wreckage wasn't just tech. Rumors say they pulled bodies from the crash. Small, gray, sure, but some whisper taller ones, reptilian, survived. Whistleblower Philip Schneider, 1995, claimed he saw them, 7-foot lizards, working with the military in Dulce, New Mexico, a secret base. He said they've got a deal, tech for silence. 2 months later, he's dead. Suicide. They ruled, but his neck was crushed. Then there's the symbols. deceased architecture, dollar bills, lizards and eyes everywhere if you squint. Look at the Federal Reserve seal, serpentine curves. Random design or a nod to who's really in charge. This isn't just wild talk. It's the final dot connecting Roswell to today. If aliens landed, if they're here, why not them? Why not a species smart enough to blend in, to whisper in the ears of power? Ever notice a politician's stare linger too long? Too cold? What if the cover-up isn't just about ships? It's about them. You've seen the files, the sightings. Now ask yourself, who's watching who? The truth might be closer than you think, and it's about to get real. Stay tuned for what it all means. From a desert crash in 1947 to slit pupil stares in 2025, the threads weave a tapestry the US government wants shredded. Roswell wasn't a balloon. It was a signal, a flare lighting up secrets they've buried for nearly 80 years. Declassified files spill hints of crafts that defy our physics. Witnesses swear by lights and shapes no human built. And then there's the whisper of reptilians. Alien shadows slithering through power's corridors. This isn't a bedtime story. It's a wake-up call. The evidence piles up. Memos redacted. Tapes erased. Voices silenced. Yet the cracks keep widening. What are they so desperate to hide? Think about it. Thousands of sightings, hundreds of leaks, and still they feed us excuses. Weather balloons, flares, swamp gas. But the tic-tac zipping past Navy jets doesn't care about their script. The Phoenix lights don't bend to their lies. And if reptilians are real, if they're here, then the cover-up isn't just about ships. It's about us. Our history, our reality, flipped upside down. Imagine waking up tomorrow to a headline, Pentagon admits, they're among us. What would you do? Run? Fight? Or just stare at the sky? Wondering who's been watching all along? This is bigger than one crash, one memo, one theory. It's a question that haunts every shadow. The Roswell Pulse isn't here to spoon-feed answers. We're here to dig, to pull back the veil they've draped over the truth. And we're just getting started. The files are out there, the witnesses are talking, and the skies keep whispering. So here's your move. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss the next drop, because the deeper we go, the darker it gets. Share this video if you're ready to demand more, if you're done swallowing their stories. What's next? Area 51's locked gates. Bases beneath the earth. Secrets too big to stay buried. The pulse is beating. Can you feel it? This is your chance to join the hunt for what they've kept from us all. The truth's out there, closer than ever. Don't blink, you might miss it.